Families joining us today. My name is Lexie McCarthy, and I'm the Director of Parent and Family Relations at Westchester University. I've served in this role since the office's inception in 2019 and have worked to enhance the parent and family experience at Westchester ever since. This session is one in a series that we're doing throughout the summer to provide insight into the student experience from WCU experts and members of our RAM Fam Advisory Council, who are parents and family members just like you. Today's session focuses on health and wellness resources at Westchester. First, I'd like to ask my panelists to introduce themselves. We will start with Sara, then move to George and Julie, and then Liz, Jayme, and end with Kathy.
Hi, my name is Sara Koval, and my daughter's going into her third year at Westchester, and she lives on campus, and she is a double major in English and French with secondary ed, as well as a minor in linguistics. And so far, we've loved Westchester. Thank you.
Hi, my name is George Guido, and I'm from Westchester, PA, and I serve as the RAM Fam Advisory Chair.
And my name is Julie Guido. I'm a licensed certified mental health therapist with a private practice in Westchester Borough. Our daughter Olivia will be a sophomore at Westchester, pursuing a dual early childhood and special education major. Her first year experience at Westchester was very, very positive, and we have very much appreciated the supportive environment that the university provides for all of its students.
Hi, I'm Liz Carper. I'm one of the counselors in the counseling center, and I'm going on my fourth year there.
Hi, my name is Jayme Trogus. I'm the director of the Office of Wellness Promotion. I just finished my first year at Westchester.
My name is Kathy Mundy. I'm a nurse at Student Health Services, and I have been here for just under 17 years.
Thank you all for introducing yourselves. We will start with some questions. We're going to start with the campus professionals. Can you tell us more about your office and how your department partners with parents and families? We'll start with Kathy and then move to Jayme and then end with Liz.
So Student Health Services plays a supporting role in we try to keep your students as healthy as possible so that they can be successful. We're staffed with a medical doctor who is our director, 4 nurse practitioners and registered nurses. And we provide what's considered primary care, so we can take care of routine illnesses and minor injuries. And then if we can't provide the services that your student needs, we help them navigate the healthcare system so that they can see people in the outside community under the confines of their insurance if they have it, and get them to the appropriate provider. Another goal of our Student Health Services is to help them to become responsible healthcare consumers so that when they graduate, they are able to independently manage their healthcare.
So the Office of Wellness Promotion, we provide students with a lot of opportunities to help with building knowledge and skills around their health and wellness. So we know that students entering college often come with a varying level of whether it's experiences or conversations they've had with individuals, whether it's their education they've had in school. So our job is to really help students with the ability to have experiences, to learn from each other. We have a peer education program that we have found that students are more likely to listen to their peers than sometimes to other individuals. So we provide a lot of interactive opportunities for students to learn the skills, to gain additional knowledge, and to be able to make more informed decisions around their well-being. Because we recognize that this is often a time when students are looking to enhance their identity, to make those decisions, and this is a good opportunity for them to interact with our office to start building some of those skills. We provide a variety of educational workshops. We provide interactive and educational tables, outreach. The students are out and about just interacting with each other and sharing information and things that students can use to help build their, as I would say, like a toolkit of information to be able to make those decisions. Our department offers wellness coaching, so a program where students one-on-one can work with our professional staff to help achieve their health and wellness goals. So it might be something where a student is looking to get more sleep or is looking to start maybe making some different nutrition decisions that we can help them one-on-one with some of those decisions. We offer programming and early intervention services around substance use. So our staff provide one-on-one sessions. Typically it's 2 sessions to help students in making better decisions around alcohol, cannabis use. And we also do group workshops, which often would be more for our first and second year students who are still looking to navigate the campus culture and some of the decisions around particularly alcohol use, and really helping students to get a better understanding of what the decisions are that they want to make and not so much what they feel or fear their peers are doing and that they might be left out of. So we often see, especially first year students coming in feeling like every student is doing this, every student is engaging in this, or sometimes over perceiving the behaviors of their peers, which could lead to making some decisions that they may not have otherwise made. So helping students with healthy norms, healthy behaviors, and healthy decisions so that they can have a successful academic, but also social experience while they're at school. So I really think that our department works very interdisciplinary with other departments, especially on the call with the counseling center, with health services, and with other departments to really look at enhancing and providing services and programs for their students around well-being.
Great, thanks, Jayme. Over to you, Liz.
Hi, at the Counseling Center, what we provide is counseling resources that are free and confidential to the students. That can be anywhere from individual counseling. We also offer group counseling, and we provide those on a short-term basis. So oftentimes, students will come to see us for typically about a semester's worth of counseling for their individual therapy. And then oftentimes they'll continue with group therapy after that. If a student has different needs and they need more of like long-term or ongoing therapy or some type of a specialized therapy, we have a case manager on site who helps locate resources for students off campus for students who are needing more long-term or ongoing therapy services. So again, those counseling services are provided within the Counseling Center and they're free and confidential. We also provide workshops. Sometimes those are student-driven for students, and then sometimes we provide those within the classroom as well. And we also have very popular outreach programs, and we do have a dog therapy program, as well as some like humanity and resilience programs as well that we offer within the Counseling Center.
Awesome. Thank you, campus partners. Next, we have a few questions for the members of our RAM Fam Advisory Council. George and Julie, what conversations have you had with your student prior to coming to Westchester about their health?
I'll start. As the dad of, this is our 3rd child going through the college experience, so I get to cover a lot of the basic health issues before they head off to college. I mean, simple things like making sure they know where to get healthcare on or near campus, understanding our insurance and what our insurance covers and what it doesn't cover, making sure they're aware of that. Also just basic prevention stuff like making sure they've had the flu shot and whatever immunizations are required. And then, throughout the conversations about college, to the earlier points, we really talk about the importance of balancing the stress and the realities of college life and the importance of good nutrition, exercise, and sleep, engaging them about, to talk about eating and eating healthy, staying involved, and some type of exercise, and then making sure they kind of balance out the craziness of the scheduling and their sleep. And then, not surprising, we talk a lot about the risky behaviors and their health effects. Things like alcohol and overindulgence. Not with the focus of trying to say do this or do that, but more an adult conversation around the realities of college life and the importance of good decision making.
Yes, and also. I wear 2 hats because as a therapist and a parent of a student at Westchester, I also like to talk to them about stress and anxiety and what that looks like in them individually. I get a lot of clients or students here from the counseling department after they're done, and they do excellent work, and it is really, really important work. So when I see them, they've already got a lot of awareness about what's going on with them, and it just needs to continue with maintenance work, actually. I like to encourage other parents, as we like to do as well, is staying connected with our students so that if signs of anxiety or stress do show up, we can keep that dialogue going. If your student, as with our student, is on any kind of medications, we want to make sure that they are able to manage that themselves, because when they do come into the school atmosphere, they are being, they need to take this kind of thing more seriously. So it's a real good idea for parents to start initiating that a month early or so that their student is able to know the consequences of whether they're taking their medications or not. And it, of course, is going to be their choice at this point. So that's a big deal. Balance is huge. And so what we're trying to do with sending them off to college is have them grow up. And part of growing up is realizing how many hours I need to study versus how much of the fraternity or sorority stuff I can put myself into, or how much my sports or my band or whatever kind of program they're in is going to take up some time. So they need to be able to balance that with relaxing, taking care of themselves, and getting their work done. So there's a lot, but there's a lot of resources here. And that's what made me feel really comfortable with my own children, is that all of these mental wellness programs that they put in place are so important and so useful. And if they utilize them, they're wonderful tools.
Great. Thank you so much. Next, we'll go to Sara, where we will talk about what ongoing conversations you have with your family about health and wellness.
Well, I agree with everything so far, but I think I want to focus more on like food and exercise, because as a stay-at-home mom, I cook for my family practically every day of the week. So when my student goes off to college and she's confronted with like this huge buffet of food, that's when you have to make healthy choices. So, going from a home where you have maybe 3 choices for dinner, one entree and some side dishes, to having this huge buffet of food, that, just making healthy choices is something that happens every day and at every meal. So for buffets, I suggested to my daughter that she look around the entire cafeteria, see what meals are available, what food choices, entrees, side dishes, and not necessarily eating directly what's in front of you, but maybe compiling several dishes together, whether it's making a salad and then putting some chicken on top with, a side of soup, and sort of like diversifying in so many words your meal. So that's one way of just making a good, healthy lifestyle choice for every meal. And then advocating, obviously, if you're thrilled with what they're serving one day, and just letting the chef know, that really helps out Westchester as well. And then on the flip side of taking breaks between classes and homework, and going to the gym is really important. They have a great gym with classes that you can sign up for ahead of time, I think, or you just go in, I believe, and take Zumba or cycling or whatever they have, or just work out on the equipment. That's a great way to take a break for the day, refresh your mind, refresh your body. And then if you don't feel like going to a gym one day, just get out of the dorm and take a walk around the campus. And what's nice about that is not just getting a fresh air and sort of feeling good, you get to maybe see somebody on your walk. And that helps socially, is that you might meet somebody or you might bump into somebody from class, and that gives you maybe a boost to your energy during the day as well. So between food choices, healthy lifestyle at the gym, getting exercises, and getting fresh air, it really helps your total body and mind.
Great. Thank you so much, Sara. I have some questions now for our campus professionals. First, I will ask, how can parents and families best support their students' health and wellness at Westchester? We'll start with Liz, then move to Kathy, and finish with Jayme.
I think one of the most important things that parents and families can do to help support their students' mental health is to really have an environment that is open and you're willing to talk to your student about their mental health and what needs they may have. So sometimes that could be talking about their stress level, having an open dialogue about how their classes are going, how is their relationships going with their roommates or other classmates, really setting up an environment that your student feels comfortable talking to you and that feels open and supportive, and also just knowing what resources are out there. So just being knowledgeable and watching something like this to really learn, hey, I see you're struggling. I may not know exactly how to help you, but you do have the counseling center at your disposal, and why don't you check it out? So really being an advocate for their mental health and setting up an environment that gives them the opportunity to talk to you is probably the most important thing you can do.
Great. Thank you, Liz. Over to you, Kathy.
So I think the most important thing that parents can do is to go over their general health before they come to campus. And if they're on long-term medications, making sure they're aware of how they're supposed to take them and that they have current prescriptions available to them. In addition to encouraging them to visit our website so that they can familiarize themselves with the services that we offer and the updates on any current health issues. So right now on the web page, we have the COVID-19. Before that, it was the Zika virus. Before that, it was Ebola. It just seems to be a recurring cycle, but it's always updated with current information. I would also encourage you to have the self-care conversations with your student. Make sure that they know how to eat well, to have the sleep pattern that's conducive to learning and surviving, and to bring some medical supplies, just basic over-the-counter medicines to campus with them, including a thermometer, so that, you know, if they aren't sure if they have a temperature, they can take their temperature and figure out what they need to do from there.
Thanks, Kathy. Over to you, Jayme.
Sure. So I think the consistent theme that I'm hearing is definitely the communication. And I would say knowing as parent and family members that the conversation may not always go as planned. I always think back to the first time that, you know, someone in my family sat me down and wanted to have certain conversations. And, you know, being an 18-year-old going into college, I thought I knew it all. So sometimes I think it's about opening those communication channels, but recognizing that they probably don't close. So how do you engage those conversations ongoing? I think thinking about even talking with your student about what are their expectations of what life will be like as a college student. As I mentioned before, you know, students have perceptions that they've heard maybe through social media or through older family members that have gone through college, and really just find out, what do they expect? What are the health behaviors that they currently practice that they hope to continue? value at Westchester, and how can they do that? So I've heard mention of resources. So it's the rec center, the health center, the counseling center. Help your students sit down and navigate the website to see what's available. Sometimes we access resources as students after the fact that, oh, now we're in this situation and now we need resources. How can we really be proactive and think about the resources that we might use to keep us healthy? Not so much maybe when we're not feeling well or when we're stressed out. How do we start those good health behaviors as we enter college that we can maintain while we're there? Help students, I think, really important part is to help them to think about what does it mean to be a member of the Westchester University community, and really thinking about, are they prepared to have these conversations with a friend or a roommate? How can we look out and support each other? And I think all of us as members, whether we're staff, students, or other members, faculty, administrators of our institution, but how do students help students? Can they identify signs when a peer might need help? Do they know what to say in a risky situation that they could help be an active bystander in a situation? And knowing that these conversations can be challenging, to be persistent, if things don't go right the first time. I know for my children, sometimes I can get them in the car and they can't leave. So it's like I try to have these bits of conversations that they at least know that that door is open, and really laying that foundation for when they're there, and figuring out what your role is once they are, whether it's they're staying on campus or they're commuting, what is your continued role? How are you checking in with them and finding that balance of checking in, but also knowing that they're working towards their independence and ways that you can support that, but when you need to maybe step in or ask questions because you might be concerned about them. So I think really just opening up and continuing that conversation, and I would expect that families are at all different levels of that and that comfort and that experience, but knowing that that is really, really important for students is to have those conversations now so that when they get to campus or when they start their experience at Westchester, that it might not be as much of a difficult experience for them to navigate.
That was super helpful. Thank you to my Westchester colleagues. I think that families and parents are going to be really grateful to have that insight. Finally, we just have some parting words from our RAM-FAM Advisory Council members. My question is, what final piece of advice do you have for incoming families related to health and wellness for their students? We'll start with George and Julie and then move to Sara.
I guess carrying on the theme here, as we've gone through three different college experiences, I've learned about the importance of not overreacting and being open to the conversations that might occur, a late night call or in a particular situation where I've learned to listen and not preach about the importance of doing X, Y, and Z, but have a conversation respectfully like a young adult. And with each student, I got a little better. And I find that there really is a lot of value in being a thought partner with them so that you can empower them to make these decisions. You can make them feel comfortable calling you in uncomfortable times. And when they do that, and you can not overreact, but help them find the solution on their own, it's really empowering for them. And for me, it's been, and I have the benefit of a mental health professional as a wife, but I've learned a lot about that moment, as opposed, in addition to all the proactive conversations. Some of those teaching moments come at the strangest times, and just to be open to it and to be a good advisor when you need to be, a real, suggesting solutions, but also kind of just asking the right questions and listening.
Yeah, not judging, especially not at 2 a.m. when you get the phone calls.
Yeah.
Every weekend or so.
Some of the best conversations.
Oh yes, yes. And I too called my mother at 2 a.m. when I was in college. I remember this. So these are the moments that they actually remember and appreciate. That's what I have found as well. So I concur.
There you go.
Thank you both. We'll move to Sara next.
Wow. I think it's a lot of conversations of just preparing what it's going to be like. I think what falls in this category is roommate issues. How do you, if there's an issue or problem or, how do you go about it? And just preparing ahead of time of having conversations of being honest but yet thoughtful, and saying things sort of the right way instead of harshly. So maybe sort of thinking of different scenarios before you go off to college, and how would you prepare, how would you talk to your roommate instead of maybe going straight to the RA, maybe just having a nice conversation of saying, I don't care for that, but can we do it this way, or so forth. So roommate issues is a really big thing because you're going to be living with this person obviously every day, every hour. Another thing I thought about when we were all talking is, preparing ahead of time of what it's like to clean your room and doing the laundry, because health and wellness is all about being clean and healthy. So, teaching your student how to work the washer and dryer, knowing that, your room should be clean all the time, because that could lead to, dusty and being sick in the future. So keeping things clean. So all these different scenarios that that we're thinking about at the dinner table, and we're talking about it, just sort of an eye opener to what may or may not happen, but how do you handle situations, and knowing definitely that there's an amazing Westchester staff to help guide you and help you. If things get worse, or even if they don't, you just feel like you need to talk to somebody, Westchester does have the staffing there.
Great. Thank you so much. As we conclude our panel, I want to thank you all for watching and thank our panelists for their time, their wisdom, and their insight. The resources represented here are just a small sampling of what we offer to serve you and your students at Westchester University. If you ever have any questions or concerns, please feel free to connect with Parent and Family Relations via email at parentfamilyrelations@wcupa.edu. You'll also find the contact information for all the offices featured on this session in the slide that follows this one. We welcome and encourage your engagement, partnership, and RAM pride. Rams up, everyone.